So, I'm roll number 54. My name is Atharv Kongralkar from CSAML A Division, and today I will make a video about the Unit 4, Chapter 1, that is storage and query. The first is the overall overview of the physical storage system. It consists of the primary storage, primary memory, secondary memory, and tertiary memory. Uh, then we talk about the overview of the physical storage system that consists of the cache, which is the fastest and the most costly form of storage. Then the main memory, it is a storage form used for data storage that are available to be operated on is main memory. Then the flash memory, it is also known as the EEPROM. It differs from the main memory in the data drive power failure. Magnetic, the next then we talk about is magnetic disk memory. The primary medium for the long-term online storage of data is the magnetic disk memory. The system must move the data from disk to main memory so that they can be accessed. Then we talk about the optical storage. This is the most popular form of storage on the compact disk. Tape storage. This is used as a primarily for the backup and archival data. For this reason, tape storage is referred to as a sequential access storage. RAID. It stands for Redundant Array of Independent Disks. It is a technology to connect multiple secondary storage devices and use them as a single storage media. So it consists of seven levels. First of all, it is to use a set of it is a set of physical displays viewed by the operating system as a single logical drive. Then second, data are distributed across the physical drives of an array in a scheme known as striping. Redundant disk the capacity is used to guarantee the parity information which guarantees data recoverability in case of failure. So these are the various RAID levels and the table. So this is about DBMS and how it works as an interface between the user and the database. So the database system is divided into two functional components, query processor and the storage manager. Query processor. So the query processor helps the database system simplify and facilitate access to data. The work of query processor is to execute the query successfully. Query processor components that consist of the DDL interpreter, DDL DML compiler, embedded DML precompiler, and the query evaluation engine. Second is storage manager. So it is a program that provides an interface between the data storage in the database and the query required. The storage manager translates the various DML commands into low-level file system command lines. It is also known as the database control system. So the next topic is the storage manager components. So it consists of the authorization manager and the integrity manager, the transaction manager, the file manager, and the buffer manager. Data storage. So it consists of the data files, data dictionary, indices, and the statistical data. It stores the database itself. Data dictionary. It contains the information about the structure of any database. Indices. It provides faster retrieval of data item. Statistical data. It stores statistical information about the data into the database. Structures. So the file organization is divided as follows into sequential, heap, hash, ISM, B plus tree, cluster, FO, etc. So the file is a collection of records. Using the primary key, we can access the different records. File structure in the sequential method is as follows. We store the record in a sequence that is one after another. So the next is method is the sorted file method as shown here. The next record is always inserted at the file's end and then is always sort the sequence in ascending or descending order. File structure. Uh, so uh, It goes as the heap file organization. It works when with data blocks. In the records inserted, it doesn't require the sorting and ordering of records. hash file organization. It uses the computation of hash function on some fields of the records. The hash functions outside determines the location of disk block where the records are to be placed. B plus file organization. It is the advanced method of an indexed sequential access to method. It is used like a tree-like structure. For each primary key, the value of the index is generated and mapped with the record. So the indexed sequential access method is also known as ISAM. In this method, records are stored in the file using the primary key. Cluster file organization. When the two or more records are stored in the same file, it is known as the clusters. Uh, these files will have two or more tables in the same data block and key attributes which are used to map these file structures. In the given example, we are retrieving the record for one of for only particular departments. Index structures records are grouped based on the cluster key and the stored together. Hash clusters, it generates the value of the hash key for the cluster key and store the records with the same hash key value. Indexing. The indexing is defined as the data structure, the technique that allows to quickly retrieve records from a database file. It minimizes the number of disk accesses required when a query is processed. Indexing attributes. Standard B tree and bitmap. B tree is a type of data structure that contains two things, namely index key and the corresponding disk trees. Bitmap indexing uses two strings to store the addresses of the tuples or the rows. Indexing attributes, ascending and descending. Ascending generally we store the search keys in ascending order. These sorted keys allow us to search the data fastly. So by default sorting order is as given below. Types of indexes. So index is divided into primary, cluster, and secondary index. Primary is divided into dense and sparse. Single. So the types of indexes are so the primary indexing in DBMS is also further divided into two types. That is the dense index and the sparse index. So the dense index is a record is created for every search key valued in the database. In the indexing method, records contain search key value and points to the real record on the disk. Secondary indexing. It is a two-level indexing technique used to reduce the mapping size of the primary index. Cluster indexing. It is used when there are multiple related records found at one place. Multi-layer indexing. Multi-layer indexing also was introduced in which we divide the main data block into smaller blocks. B-tree index. It is a multi-layer format of tree-based indexing in DBMS technique which has balanced binary search trees. Hashing. It is a technique used to calculate the direct location of a record on the disk without using index structure. In this technique, data is stored at the data blocks when address is generated by using the hashing function. Query processing and query optimization. Query processing would mean the entire process of the or activity which involves query translation into low-level transactions. Query processing is a translation of high-level queries into low-level expressions. Parsing and translation. The fired queries undergo lexical, syntactical, and semantic analysis. The query gets broken down into different tokens and white spaces are removed along what is known as lexical analysis. And the syntactic analysis implies first checks the query if the rules of SQL have been correctly followed or not. Query optimization. In the next step, DBMS picks up the most efficient evaluation plan. That is the optimizer also evaluates the usage of index present in the table and the columns being used. It is also finds out the best order of subqueries to be executed. Query execution plan. A query can be expressed in many ways. Optimization step to be to find different relational algebra expressions that are equivalent and return the result of the one we have written already. Query execution engine. A query execution engine is responsible for generating the output of a given query. At this stage, we choose one execution plan of the several we develop. So this is the summary. So thank you.